Anderson, your speaker today. The spiritual message that's going to open hearts.
Talk amongst yourselves for a second. Do my feng shui for a moment.
Coffee talk.
Oh, boy, you're going to have a problem there, so I'm going to mess it up.
So how are we all today?
And you?
Oh, I'm doing well. Thank you for asking. Appreciate that. Because it's been a very interesting week. For those who may not know, I recently went to Dallas, Texas to attend the annual ministers gathering. So it was Monday to Friday, me and a couple of hundred CSL ministers, all in a room, all in a hotel, all in one city at the same time. But sorry, what happens in Dallas must stay in Dallas for now. So, how many folks in the room love language like I love language? I love language. And part of me loving language is because, I do American Sign Language, and I gotta say, and I do English, but I have at least two ways of communicating.
Japanese.
Which all of us do. We have various ways that we communicate. We mentioned the dancers. Dance movement is a way of communicating. Singing is a way of communicating. Poetry is a way of communicating. One thing I love about language is that one word can have multiple meanings. For example, bounty. Because it's one of the things we're talking about today. Bounty, God's bounty. Take God off for a second though. Bounty. Just hearing the word bounty. What comes to your mind?
Paper towels.
Paper towel. That's great. But what else? Paper towels, bounty. What else?
Plenty.
Plenty.
Enough.
Enough.
Hunter.
Who?
Bounty hunter.
Bounty hunter. So as we know, and you can have, referencing bounty hunter, you can have a bounty on someone's head, right?
Right.
So, bounty, multiple. What about prosper or prosperity? Let's go with prosper. Growth. Affluence. Accomplishment. Happiness. One more.
Self-actualization.
Abundance.
Money, a lot of.
Money, a lot of. But isn't it interesting that bounty can have such amazingly high, evolved, higher consciousness energy, but it can also be something way down here. That prosper, because one can prosper in a negative or harmful. No weapon formed against me shall prosper. Abundance. Yeah, I wouldn't hang out with her. She has an abundance of issues. She has a wealth of problems. Right? So, just saying the word, it behooves us to be very, 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 very clear in consciousness. What am I prospering with, in, or as? In what way is God's bounty showing up in, through, and as my life? In what way abundance? In what way opulence? Because we have prosperity teachings. And we have the lingo. But when I hear a lot of folks talking, when I hear a lot of folks treating, when I hear a lot of ministers or folks, teaching, when I hear a lot of, just in general, there are times when we slip beneath the radar of, and we're down here and it's, what exactly are we talking about now? So it helps us to be very, very clear. So when you say, I want to be, or I am, and a lot of us don't get to the I am, so we affirm it and we deny but I am prosperous. But somewhere back there, it's Because we're wrestling with the words. And if we're wrestling with the words, clearly we're wrestling with the energy. Language is energy. Words are energy. I don't remember where somewhere recently this popped up where it says, and I want to say it's in the Tao, but that which the Tao is, or that which spirit is, that which source is, has no need for words. It communicates through and in and of itself without words. But it uses words for a different benefit, but it does not need them, right? So we have the possibility, we have ways of communicating, expressing. You can give someone a hug, which is without words. How many times have we said, a picture is worth a... So we can communicate without them, but because of how we are showing up, we use them. But how many times do we say things that were not meant the way they were said, and then how many relationships are like, but honey, it's not what I meant, but it's what you said. I don't know what you meant. I can only go by what you said. So we know it happens. And if it happens in relationship with another, is it happening in the relationship we have with ourselves, where we are not being clear as crystal with who and what we are showing up to be? Could one of the obstacles to our accessing or making use of God's bounty be the fact that we are not clear on what exactly that is, what exactly that means, how exactly to get our lowercase I, lowercase s self out of the way? Because we always talk about God is all there is. The infinite wisdom of the universe is right here present in, through, and as me. Like, we know the language. We quote and we affirm and we've got that stuff down. Well, Ernest Holmes says, we've got that stuff down. But when service is done, when we're watching CNN and we see what's going on in the hearings, when we turn the news on, or we don't have to read the news, I can go down to the 7-Eleven on the corner and find enough drama, trauma, and conflama to throw me off my game. So when do we take the opportunity to really get grounded? If we're going to say we know that we are part of, infinitely interwoven in this thing called God, Spirit, Source, the universe, the infinite I am. And all that it is, we are. There is no part of us that is not divine. Because that which God is all there is. So whatever it is, God is infinite love. Well, so are you. God is infinite wisdom. So are you. And we oftentimes will say, yeah, ain't got a bit of common sense though. So it shows up in all kinds of ways. But the more we allow ourselves to get grounded and get clear, the more we are plugging in. We can talk about the art of electricity. You know, there are various amps and blah, blah. I don't know nothing about electricity except don't put a word in. There are amps and megahertz and frequencies and we can curse the darkness, but if we don't plug in, that which electricity is does us no good. I'm going to still walk around the dark room and kick the cat and step on stuff and curse the darkness. If God is the infinite all there is, and we know there are people walking around that don't know that they have access to plug in. That technically, and that's simply an analogy of saying to plug in. Because that implies that there is a to not be plugged in and to be plugged in. But if you are all it is, you're already plugged in. Intimately one with the one. But if you don't consciously bring that to your awareness, then it's the equivalent of not being plugged in. So the challenge is, the invitation is, if we want to have whatever that is bounty, other than the paper towels. But if that's what you want, fine. Whatever that is bountiful in life, whatever is prosperous, prospering, a demonstration of prosperity, a demonstration of wealth, a demonstration of opulence, a demonstration of affluence, whatever that is for you. Because not everybody wants a Mercedes-Benz. Some do, some don't. Some are content to drive a Prius, thank you. Clearly I know nothing about cars like electricity. Because apparently a Prius is the opposite end of a Mercedes-Benz. Not everybody wants to demonstrate from the same place. And that's fine. Because why else would that which God is show up with so many different fingerprints if it did not want to experience itself as the multitudes of possibilities, in, through, and as everything? So when we stop comparing one person's degree of opulence, prosperity, and wealth, well, if I had the money Oprah had, I would end world hunger. Really? Because that attitude of if and would, could, should, and if only is the very obstacle that would make it not possible.
Yes, sir.
It has to start with this state of consciousness right now that says, I am. I am. And if I am, then not just that I can, but I am, which means I will. Because I can, well, I can take out the garbage. In which Tracy will reply, well, then do it. Don't tell me what you can do. Do it. So if I am being, oh, y'all on camera should see what if I am being a demonstration of prosperity, opulence, wealth, bounty, God's infinite bounty, how does that now show up in my life? How many folks in the room are writers of some sort? Write poetry, write journals, write novels, you write something. Okay, hands down. Think to yourself. Because I know it's not you. You've never had this, but have you ever heard of writer's block? Writer's block is simply the lowercase s self believing that there is something that can stop the flow of ideas and creation and creativity and artistry and beauty and magic and flow. Because if God is all there is, and God is never stagnant anywhere, the infinite flow of energy that is God does not stop. For example, how many keys, for those who may know, because I don't, 88 keys. And with 88 keys, which is a quote-unquote limited number, because 88 is a specific number. With 88 keys, how many pieces of music can I create? Infinite. With 88 keys, I can create infinite numbers of symphonies, infinite numbers of ballads, infinite scores to music and movies, infinite. With 88 keys. How many letters in the alphabet?
26.
How many words, how many sentences, how many paragraphs, how many novels now rest within the limited number of A through Z. But how many things can then be created from that? See, the fact that we have this thing called mind, and we know that there is only one mind, and that mind is infinite. And that mind is our mind when? Now. Not that mind is our mind tomorrow. That mind, I affirm that mind will be my mind one day, as soon as I let go of all of this baggage about scarcity, lack, and confusion. As soon as my writer's block fades away, then I will be. Then my book will be published, my song will be sung, my dance will be danced. Then. But I have to get rid of this first. No, you don't. we can step into that which is the field of, one of the things we talked about at the ministers' conference, the theme was the field of love. We can step into consciously, because we're already there, the field of love the moment we choose. Meaning, I can still experience the angst that I'm currently experiencing because of my mother's recent diagnosis of Alzheimer's. I can still be in the field of love. I can still experience the infinite allness that is, even while the human aspect of life has moments of pain, moments of anger, moments of darkness, moments of. Even though, but see, what we try to do is we try to do an either or. Apples or oranges. It's not, it's both and. It's yin and yang. It's both and. The moment we stop trying to be good, the moment we stop trying to be better, the moment we stop trying to get love, to earn love, to earn value, to be validated, the moment we stop and say, I'm it. I am already good. As our Unity brothers and sisters say, there is only one power and one presence, God the good, omnipotent. Only one. And all that it is good. Now, our challenge is, this is where that dichotomy, that duality thing comes up. Because when we see folks on CNN, the news, the lane right beside us as we're driving, and they did, I know you didn't just cut in front of me again. Oh, I let the love wash over me. I let it be. Oh, no, you didn't do it again. And it's because of this stuff that goes on, that's why we juggle with this. Which is why we're invited 10,000 times more to find those moments of grace throughout the day to come back to oneness. That even though I see someone or something that is showing up as opposite, in ways that are not life-affirming, that there is only one life, and that life is God's life. So even when I watch a documentary about Jeffrey Dahmer, Charles Manson, Adolf Hitler, there is the human part of me that wants to label it and call it evil. But there is the divine part of me that knows that if God is all there is, then God must be right where they are as well. How do I step forward to know it for them? How do I change my mind? And that does not mean that I run up and say, hey, give me a hug, Jeffrey. Don't bite me in the neck. It does not mean that. Well, you know he liked dark meat. It does not mean. Oh, just saying. Call a thing a thing. But my point is, that does not mean that I run into. It means I stand in the lion's den and know the truth. It means I walk a completely different walk, that if I am put in the fiery furnace, I know that that which God is protects me. It envelops me, because it is all that I am. So when we see things and hear things that show up to the contrary, our invitation is to get very grounded and very still and to know. And if you are willing, I would like us to put that into practice for a moment right here, right now. You game? Okay. So what I would like is, and I'm going to read this to make sure I say exactly what I want to say. At this moment, I invite all of the women or anyone who identifies as female to stand. and simply receive. Beloved women, I cannot know and do not know what it is to walk your walk. I do not know what it is to live your experience. I do not know what it is to be shunned, quieted, dismissed, disqualified, or ignored for being a woman. I do not know what it is to routinely not have my story be heard or believed. While I do not know what it is to have these experiences, I do know that I can take responsibility right here and now to create a safe space in this spiritual community and say to you clearly and directly, men, together, I find an eye, raise a hand, holding in consciousness to our sisters, our mothers, our beloveds. Men, I see you. Repeat after me. I see you.
I see you.
I hear you.
I hear you.
Your voice matters to me.
Your voice matters to me.
I see you.
I see you.
I hear you.
I hear you.
Your voice matters to me.
Your voice matters to me.
I see you.
I see you.
I hear you.
I hear you.
Your voice matters to me.
Your voice matters to me.
I see you.
I see you.
I hear you.
I hear you.
Your voice matters to me.
Your voice matters to me.
I see you.
I see you.
I hear you.
I hear you.
Your voice matters to me.
Your voice matters to me.
I see you.
I see you.
I hear you.
I hear you.
Your voice,
Your voice,
your experience
your experience
matters to me.
matters to me.
May the vibration of our affirmation and the meditations of our heart move out into the wider world and make a difference. And so it is.
So it is.
An opportunity can always be made to be seen, to be heard, to be appreciated. We have to be the ones who take the step to do so. And if we're taking that sacred energy, that divine light, and trying to blind others or burn others with the light of God, it doesn't work. But when we shine our light so brightly that it illuminates the path for another to see, then we know that change is possible. And so what I know is the energy that is currently showing up in and throughout our government, throughout this planet, of the divine masculine gone awry, of white supremacy, of homophobia, and Islamophobia, racial intolerance, religious intolerance, gender intolerance, etc. If it's going to change, and I know it will, then we have to be the ones to change it. We have to be the ones who are so determined in our minds, in our hearts, and our hands to do what's necessary, that when you see something, you say something. That we no longer stand by as spiritual outcasts, isolated, and not a part of the world. Because if it's going to manifest as a world that works for all, then we start it right here, right now, by demonstrating that we know this is an abundant universe. There is more love than can ever be measured. There is more light that can ever be quantified. The solution, the answer, the healing, we say we know is in this teaching, in this philosophy. or you wouldn't be here. You'd be at a church down the street, or a synagogue down the road, or a temple somewhere else, or a mosque somewhere else. You would be somewhere, or on your couch eating popcorn. You would be somewhere else. But you're here, which means you have agreed that I know that there is something about this philosophy that has changed my life and has the possibility and is changing lives for others. So you've already agreed. Now it's time for us to do the serious work. Let us pray. Breathing. Surrendering to the breath, knowing that it is the universe that is breathing itself as us. Surrendering. Letting go. Letting go of the idea of who and what we are supposed to be. Letting go of the baggage, the pain, the scarcity, the memories of anything that could possibly hold us down, hold us back, hold us from the bounty of God. Letting go. And in this place of surrender and letting go, I speak this word, knowing that God, source, spirit, the thing itself, the one mind, love is all there is. And it being all there is, it must right now be showing up in, through, and as me. To such a degree that I know that these are not the words of Raymont, but that these are the words of the infinite I am, speaking through itself, about itself, back unto itself. There is only God. And what is true for me is true for all. Every man, woman, and child in this room, every man, woman, and child in this city, every man, woman, child, tree, rock, fish, insect, all is God. And knowing it is all God, then the manner in which I treat my brother and sister, the manner in which I treat my brother and sister tree, the manner in which I treat my brother and sister road and street, is the same way that I am treating myself, the same way I am treating God. When I litter, I am littering in God. When I am cursing at someone who has brought up something in me that I don't like the way it feels. I don't like the way it feels. I don't like the way it feels. And so I curse at them. And what I know then, therefore, is I am cursing at God. So I take this moment now to forgive. Forgive anyone and anything that may have made me feel like I was less worthy, less magnificent, less godly. I release it and I surrender it. And I step on the path of truth that says, I am love in action. And what is true for me is true for you as well. I am love in action. I am the infinite I am. These hands are God's hands. My ideas are God's ideas. My creativity is God's infinite creativity, and I surrender and I allow that which God is, the bounty of all that God is, to right now flow in, through, with, and as me. That there is no man, woman, circumstance, situation, government, politics, or policy that can deny or denounce or destroy the truth of what God is as me. I am. God is. I know. I place this word with gratitude in the law because I know that I am safe. I know that I am powerful. I know that I am bountiful and prospering and affluent and basking in opulence because I have allowed that which God is, the infinite spirit, to flow in, through, and as me. And that which is mine to have, that which is mine to be, that which is mine to do, I do magnificently. And what is true for me, as I said, is true for you as well. So in gratitude, I place this word into the law from whence it came. The law that always says yes, 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 yes. I release it, and together we seal it and know with expectation of its manifestation. We say, and so it is.